In tonight's South Bank show, the magical world of Disney Pixar. Under the creative leadership of the Academy Award-winning director and animator John Lasseter, Pixar makes art movies with mass appeal. Established in 1979, bought by the Walt Disney Corporation in 2006, Pixar creates modern computer-generated films and characters inspired by the classic hand-drawn animations of Walt Disney in the 20th century.
When I was growing up, my favorite films of all time were the Disney films. Oh! And my favorite movie of all time is Dumbo.
You sweet little
And probably my second favorite is Bambi. I've studied all of his films, but those two in particular are two of my absolute favorites.
Good morning, young prince.
One of the things that Walt did so well was not only tell a great story, not too predictable.
Good morning, young prince.
But those two films took you to another world. And that became kind of a foundation for when we started making films at Pixar.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dream.
The world-famous Disney theme parks are now populated by characters from Pixar movies as well as from Disney films. Although the characters, like the films, are quite different.
We were really interested in not doing what Disney was doing. They were doing the, Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast and Lion King, these kind of Broadway-style musicals where they have a good guy, a bad guy, and comic sidekicks and so on. And said, we wanted to do something different, and we started looking at film genres. And so we decided, let's do a buddy picture with toys. And so after talking around, we realized with toys being alive in a kid's room, there's 2 days that they fear the most, and that's Christmas and a child's birthday, because new toys are coming in. And so we thought, why don't we create a story, a buddy picture about an old toy that is a child's favorite, and on his birthday comes a brand new toy, the flashiest, coolest action figure, that you could possibly have.
Something that John imparted on us from day one on Toy Story was just this idea of going back to the source. We'd look at the little army men, for example, and there's that bad seam that you see down the side because of the imperfect molding. And we got that in the characters in the movie, as well as the base, that they're sort of stuck to there. We had thought maybe they could lift their feet up, and that the base would kind of follow along like a shadow or something. But John said, no, it's got to stay stuck down. You got to, embrace the sort of inherent limitations of these toys.
It all came together kind of at the end. That's what happens with animation, especially computer animation. You work for like 4 years, and 3.5 of it, it's all in pieces, right? And you don't know what it is. The last 6 months, all of a sudden, you start seeing it come together, and it's like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is beautiful. And that's what everybody at Disney started like, holy moly, this is really a good movie.
To infinity and beyond! Buzz, we missed the truck! We're not aiming for the truck.
What is it?
Woody! Buzz!
Oh, great, you found them. Where were they?
Here in the car!
See? Now, what did I tell you? Right where you left them.
John just possesses a childlike fascination with everything that he does and everything that he wants to do.
My friends started calling me saying, "Hey, I'm hearing about Toy Story, and it's amazing." And how did you know about that? This is just something we're doing for fun. It was weird to drive down the street and see billboards, with Woody and Buzz on them. It just kind of was not the way I was thinking about the way we were working.
When I saw Toy Story, I was working in L.A., and when I saw it, I was just absolutely knocked out. And as great as the technology was, that's not what knocked me out. What knocked me out was there were brand new characters that everyone felt connected with immediately. And it was thought out to the sort of ridiculously nth degree that I love about classic animation.
We realized we probably had a movie that worked on our hands and it might do well, and that means we might get a chance to make another movie. And if so, what are we going to do? And we're already a year behind schedule if that's the case. So we had a quick lunch. We went off and we threw out all these ideas. And it's really the lunch where A Bug's Life got thought up.
We call it an epic of miniature proportions. It was a widescreen, gigantic adventure, and it had huge crowd scenes, but it's all set in the world of insects.
There was a big and very substantial technical change to go from our first film to our second film.
Whereas Toy Story, everything was kind of geometric. It was the perfect subject matter for the first computer animated feature film. A Bug's Life, everything was organic. And making things organic in the way they're shaped, the coloration, the way that things move, is far more challenging with computer animation. And we noticed that everything was translucent when you get down to that level. Grass blades, leaves, flower petals. So we had to invent that, to make everything translucent. It's like stained glass windows all around you. And so I think it's one of the most beautiful films we've made to this day.
Okay, Flip, time to put you down now. Get him off me. He's cutting off the circulation to my foot.
No. Please don't go. Put the stick down. Let I mean it now. Drop the stick. Drop it.
Run!
Boy, he runs fast for a little guy.
Wait.
Monsters, Inc. was the first Pixar film not directed by me. I asked Pete Docter to start thinking of an idea because I wanted him to direct his own film.
I was really struck by, after Toy Story, how many people came up to me and said, I thought my toys came to life too. And I was thinking, well, I wonder if there are other things like that we all sort of had the same idea about it.
He came up with the idea that all kids know that at night when they go to bed, there's monsters in their closets. And he came up with this fantastic idea that the screams of kids are captured by the monsters and it's refined into a clean fuel.
Oh, I'm feeling good today, Mikey.
On Monsters, we did a lot of research looking at fur. We had samples of real fur as well as artificial fur that we got from the fabric store. A lot of attention, of course, paid to the eye. We looked at real human eyes and tried to figure out, even the dilation of the pupil. And all those little subtle things I don't think people really pick up on consciously, but they feel it, and it brings a sort of air of believability to the whole thing.
Look in the bag.
What bag? Oh, they don't have anything I like here, so take care, Celia.
Excuse me, sir. What's going on?
Celia, please try to understand. I have to do something.
Michael?
Oh, good. On 3, 1, 2.
After years of being there, being the only animator at Pixar, Ed Catmull finally came to me and said, okay, we can hire one more animator. And I looked around, who is it going to be? And I got to know Andrew Stanton. He went to CalArts, the same college I went to. Andrew was actually turned down by Disney, I think 3 times, And so when I asked him to come work with us, and he said, yes, I don't care, And so Andrew became my creative right-hand man at the studio. He co-directed A Bug's Life with me, and then I said, okay, it's your turn.
I had an infant son at the time, And we went to a local aquarium. They had just opened this exhibit, and you could lose your peripheral vision of the room you were in and feel, when you went up against the glass, what it might be like to be underwater. What I realized was what a great world to simulate and capture almost perfectly. But that wasn't a story, that was just a setting. And it really wasn't until about 3 or 4 years later, when my son was about 5, that I was working so busy on A Bug's Life that I realized I wasn't seeing him as much as I'd like to. So on one of my rare weekends off, I insisted that we go to the park down the street. And I had all this concentrated desire to sort of make up for the lost time that I had felt over the month. And I sort of threw it all away because I spent the whole time saying, don't touch this, watch out, you know, that's dirty, you'll poke your eye out, watch out for cars. And here I was, this father with the best of intentions, having nothing but the desire to spend all this time with him, yet I couldn't get out of my own way. And I thought, that must be a very common problem.
You are in big trouble, young man. Do you hear me? I'm coming, Nemo!
Get under me, kids!
He came up with this amazing story about a father fish who loses his son, and he searches the ocean to find him again. And it was a very personal story for him. You know, it's a relationship he has with his father and a relationship he has with his son, all worked in there. And so it's very funny and very emotional.
Goldfish have a memory of 3 seconds. And I thought that was such an hysterical problem to have. And I just thought I would give it to some side character as a joke. But I found a deeper responsibility for that character because here I am telling a story for 90 minutes about a father and son relationship, yet they're never together for more than 10 minutes in the whole movie. So how do I have a surrogate or a proxy for that? And I realized that's what Dory could be. She could act the role of what Nemo or any child would do for a parent through the middle of the movie. And then suddenly I felt like some genius because it suddenly was essential that a character like this be in the film.
Stop following me, okay?
What are you talking about? You're showing me which way the boat went.
A boat? Hey, I've seen a boat. It passed by not too long ago. It went, this way. It went this way. Follow me.
Wait a minute. What is going on? You already told me which way the boat was going.
I did?
It's all about fear and conquering it. That's really from a parental point of view about that emotion. And that's really what the whole movie's about.
Just one boy! Good eye.
There's no way out. There's got to be a way to escape.
Who is it?
Dory, help me find a way out.
Sorry, you'll have to come back later. We're trying to escape.
Okay, there's no way out. There's got to be a way out.
Look, here's something. Escape. I wonder what that means. It's funny. It's spelled just like the word escape.
Let's go.
Ah!
Here's Brucey.